What is going on, everybody? Project Rodder here, and it is time for our fifth and final stop of the Stadium Series here today in San Diego. Before we get started, just a quick reminder, Patreon is up. It's live. We currently have one patron for early access and other exclusive content. Be sure to check it out, link down below. But moving on to the series, this is the current leaderboards going in to today's event. As I said again, today we are in San Diego for the fifth and final event before World Finals. Northern Nightmare still on top with that 12-point lead. Monster Dalmatian in second, Blue Thunder third, Gravedigger fourth, so on and so forth. Whiplash currently facing a chance at being eliminated and downgraded, I guess, or demoted into the Arena Series. So there is a lot at stake. This stop, this result, the end result of this whole thing is gonna affect the entire series. So it's going to be really interesting to see what happens. But as we get started, Whiplash already going on her first lap, if you will, of the course. A little bit of trouble there, but she's able to stay on all fours and continue the run. Whiplash, Morales TCS, the driver behind the wheel of Whiplash. One of two females in the Stadium Series and one of three overall. Luckily, she was able to finish her run at 28.12, and she's able to keep it back on all fours, so she'll be able to go for her second lap there. But one of three females in the entire series, and one of those females, if you've been keeping track of the Arena Series, Cecily96 and Alien Invasion is the winner of the Arena Series. Completely dominated the circuit and will be at World Finals and Season 2 of the Stadium Series. So something really exciting to look forward to as we crown our first winner there. But Morales TCS and Whiplash looking like some trouble there. Looks like she may be disqualified. As you can see on the replay there, she was outside of the lines. So it will be a disqualification for Whiplash. No one has notified her yet, but that's unfortunate, although she was able to get one time in. Now, before I move on to Monster Mud here, Whiplash was 11th in qualifying last time around in Oakland, so hasn't had the best luck. Hopefully, she's gotten a quicker time or a faster time with her time. That was a, a 28.12, so hopefully that's enough to keep her a little bit higher and get some points. Monster Mud, some trouble here, though, as he rolls over. Looks like he will face a disqualification as well. Or no, maybe not. No, he's within the lines, so he should be good as he's over here. He's finishing his run now, and a 30.14, so not enough. I'm sure that little hiccup there really messed him up, although he has one more opportunity to go. Monster Mutt last time around was actually 4th in qualifying, got a bye run for the first time this season, and made it somewhat far to the semifinals, if I'm not mistaken. Possibly. Yes, I believe it was the semifinals. I'm sorry. But yes, so I'm sure he'd like to have a repeat of that. Hopefully this second time he can get a better time, but it looks like a little bit of trouble here. Possibly. No, it's going into more trouble as he's flipping into the containers, and that's going to be it for him. A DNF for Monster Mutt and Ryan Hayward. So very unfortunate, as Whiplash remains our fastest qualifier as of yet, as Mohawk Warrior comes out. Mohawk Warrior being 9th last time around in Oakland when it came to qualifying. Mohawk Warrior being driven by Blake Bell too. He did get the skills win over in Oakland. He came out and threw out an amazing run and took the win. So he's been there before. He's gotten some good points, although he's been somewhat, in the second half of the leaderboards all season long. So when he shines bright. Let's just put it that way. But finishes up his first run, a 26.90, so definitely knocking out Whiplash as he goes into some trouble here. Overran the track, I guess. Luckily, he was able to keep it on all fours, but definitely knocked out Whiplash out of first or fastest time. So he is our new leader. 3 trucks in. And, oh, I thought he was going straight for that jump there. I'm sure he tricked us all. But I'm sure he'd love to come out here and put down another run. But some trouble here. A possible another DNF. I'm sure there it is. Yep. So 3 DNFs in a row. Or I believe the other one was a disqualification. So very unfortunate, although he did get a really fast time, which put him in the lead. So here comes Zombie for his attempt. Zombie last time around was 8th in qualifying in Oakland, and the driver behind the wheel of Zombie being Eddie Garcia Jr. So Zombie has made it to the finals before. I mean, qualifying he's done decent, but he's made it to the finals before. It was an unfortunate run during that final race, and he turns a little too early, and that's going to cost him some time. He's going to be able to finish the run, however, as we look and see what his time is going to be at 28.65, so not too bad, but that early turn is what really messed him up. I'm sure he would have had a better time had it not been for that. And we may have had a new leader, who knows, but here we go. Here comes his second go around. But I believe it was in Atlanta against Monster Mud Dalmatian in the final race. Monster Mud Dalmatian just took the win. I think Zombie had a little bit of a hiccup during that final race, and it cost him the win. But hey, we have this event and the World Finals to make up some ground, so we'll just wait and see what happens, as he may have turned a little early again, and it looks like it's going to mess him up, possibly, but let's see what his time is going to be. And a 26.94, so had it not been for that little bit of a hiccup there in the turn, he would have had a faster time. However, it's good enough for second place, just barely right behind Mohawk Warrior. But here comes Avenger, and Nicholas Morhees unfortunately was in last place in qualifying last time around in Oakland because he got a disqualification in the first lap and did not finish his second lap. So I'm sure he'd like to come out here and put out some good times on both runs and move up in the leaderboards. He was actually pretty high for a while there, and then something just happened. He just, a few hiccups here and there, and he just unfortunately wasn't able to bounce back. So a 27.31 for his first go around. So he was able to finish, luckily, as he goes for his second attempt. Avenger seems to be more, well, no, he's actually a really fast truck. I was going to say he seems to be more of a freestyler than anything, but I mean, he's a pretty good racer. He's a pretty fast truck in terms of past qualifying and past races. So it's just a matter of just getting lucky and being faster. And a little bit of a hiccup there is he turned a little too early, and that's going to cost him a disqualification for being outside of the line. So unfortunate for Avenger. However, he was able to get one time, so he won't be at least in dead last this time around. But El Toro Loco coming out just barely missed the second round bye run. He was 5th in qualifying last time in Oakland by 0.08 seconds. That's how far behind he was from Monster Mud, who was in the 4th place spot. So just barely missing out on the bye run. I thought he was gonna have some trouble there, but he was able to kick that rear steer in, and just really good driving, really fast reflexes there to keep him on all fours and finish the run. I'm sure it'll hurt his time though. Let's see what it's going to be. A 27.62, so not too bad actually. A pretty good time, all things considered. He's going to go for his second lap now. But yep, El Toro Loco and Julian Peacock Jr. being the winner. Being 5th in qualifying last time. If I'm not mistaken, he may have gotten a skills win way back when. It might have been, yes, it was the second stop in Glendale where he got a skills win. Came out and did a maximum moonwalk and backflip, reverse backflip, and it was very impressive. So he's won some things here before. I'm sure he'd love to do it again as he finishes his second run, and a 27.01, so a faster time than his first one, although it may only be good enough for third at the moment. Let's go ahead and take a look at the current leaderboards. Mohawk Warrior with a 26.90, Zombie 26.94, Toro 27.01, Avenger 27.31, Whiplash 28.12, and Monster Mud unfortunately with a 30.14. As Bakugan Dragonoid comes out. Dragonoid being 10th last time around in Oakland in terms of qualifying, driven by Lane Flores too. Now he did have a good run going in terms of freestyle. He was dominating. Got a 42 in our first event in Anaheim. Then a 39 in our second event in Glendale, taking the win. And then our third event, he struggled a bit. That's when Northern Nightmare took it, and this last time Gravedigger just dominated. But he was going for back-to-back back-to-back freestyle wins. Unfortunately, didn't get it and lost it. But this is a new day. This is a new event as he flips over again. Also overruns it. Luckily, was able to land on all fours. Oh, almost going into some trouble again, but he's able to save it. Looks like it's just some cosmetic damage. No worries. But a truck that can definitely come out and throw down in freestyle. So it'd be interesting to see what he can do today, with it being the last stop of the season. And I've been noticing as these trucks go through qualifying that with the finish line being halfway through the stadium there, that it's Sunday. Look, that's going to be a disqualification also for Bakugan. Very unfortunate, but that is what it is. Unfortunately, he was able to get a time the first time around, though, so he is at least on the board as Max D and Ethan Waters come out. But what I was saying is, as I'm noticing these trucks finish, the finish line is in the middle of the field there. It's no longer the jump. So, at least for this event. So, and Max D, some trouble here. He overturns it. Luckily, he was able to keep it back in the track. See, at that point, it's okay if you don't line it up right. It's the finish that matters, if that makes sense. So, here we go. He's outside, but he's able to turn it back in, and that should give him a time. He was able to steer it at their last second and flip it right over the finish line. So, luckily, he is going to get a time at 29.25. Not the best time, however. It's not a disqualification or a DNF. So, that's something to be happy about, I guess. But what I am noticing, let me try for the third time, what I am noticing as these trucks pass the finish line, or just that area in general, is whenever they land, it tends to take a lot of their momentum away. So I feel like that's going to be a huge difference maker in racing today, as it's making a pretty big difference, or a pretty big impact in qualifying right there. Boom, it kind of stops their momentum for a while. I feel like there's really no right way to land that unless you completely clear it, and that may not kill your momentum. But here we go, Max D and Ethan Waters finishing his second lap. Should be a faster time than the first one, but boom, right there, he just it immediately stops him. So that's going to be interesting to see what it does throughout the racing event. But a 28.13 for Max D and Ethan Waters. So a little bit of a better time compared to his first time around, but hey, you'll take what you can get at this point. But now Gravedigger coming out, Gravedigger and Tom Holland Spider-Man, who threw out an amazing freestyle run in Oakland this last time around. Amazing moves. It was just one of my favorites so far, if I do say so myself. Not the highest scoring one. The highest scoring one freestyle we've had has been a 42. However, it was just 1 point shy with a 41 as he finishes his first run. Kind of an awkward angle that he landed there. Luckily, he was able to finish and get a 27.80 for his first time around as he goes for his second one. But there will be, at the end of the season after World Finals, we will have, an award ceremony for Freestyle of the Year, Skills of the Year, Save of the Year. So it's going to be interesting to see how the votes come out. I really want to see how it's going to go, because that has to be one of my favorite runs so far this season. But an awkward landing there, kind of wheelied it a little bit. I'm sure that's going to kill some of his speed, some of his momentum as he comes towards the end of his second go-around. Kind of an awkward angle here, and he's not going to be able to stay within the lines, and I'm sure that's going to be a disqualification as he had enough momentum to bring him back over on all fours, but a disqualification for Gravedigger as he was unable to stay within the lines. So unfortunate, however, he was able to get that first time. I'm sure that little bit of a hiccup that he did have might have messed up his time anyways, so it may have worked out for the best. As Blue Thunder comes out, who's been back and forth. I mean, he's been at the middle of the leaderboards, from the top to the middle, back to the top. He's currently in third, just a couple points behind Monster Dalmatian. So I'm sure he'd love to come out here and win this whole thing. He's after that crown and after Northern Nightmare. But it all comes down to this. He killed it in racing last time, our first original racing winner, and then took the racing win last time. So he has 2 racing wins under his belt as he somersaults forward after his first lap there. 27.64 for Blue Thunder, so not a bad time for his first go-around. He was second in qualifying in Oakland, and then came and beat Monster Dalmatian, who was our fastest qualifier, but came and beat her in the final race. Monster Dalmatian had that unfortunate hiccup. I keep using that word, but that little error in the final turn that cost her the race. So he was able to tie Monster with total racing wins, or Monster Dalmatian, excuse me, with total racing wins. So he has 2. Monster Dalmatian and April Summers has 2. So it'd be interesting to see, if either of them might get the win this time around in San Diego, and see who takes the crown for most racing wins as he finishes his last go around. A little bit of trouble there, 30.23. So we're going to go with his first time as his best time. So good attempt by Blue Thunder as Monster Dalmatian comes out, and April Summers, our runner-up last time around, although she did get back-to-back wins in Glendale and Atlanta. So I'm sure she'd love to get a third and final racing win of the season here in San Diego, especially with those points on the line. She's currently 12 points behind Northern Nightmare, who's in first place. So really any kind of win for her right now is a good win to lessen that gap. But she's going to finish her first one, but it wasn't within the line, so it's going to be a DNF for her, or disqualification for Monster Dalmatian and April Summers. Very unfortunate. She has one more go around, but I'm sure that's going to affect her pretty bad. Very unfortunate that she was outside the lines, but those are the rules. So we're just going to have to stick to them as she goes for her second attempt and see what she can do here. Now, she came from the bottom. She was pretty low in the leaderboards, and all of a sudden something woke up in her, and she just took over and has been dominating since, and has made it all the way to second place. But some more trouble here, and she may get a DNF after all. There it is. Very unfortunate for April Summers. This is really going to hurt her in the leaderboards, as depending on what happens with Northern Nightmare, she's only going to get 1 point out of this. So this is going to be a big difference maker, as there's only 3 more events left in today's event and for the season. So that's crazy. That's very unfortunate, and at the last event of all times. But Northern Nightmare coming out with some trouble, able to save it. That was a beautiful save. Powered it out on all fours, but that's going to be a DNF. So things might be looking up for Monster Dalmatian. If he screws up here too, he'll either get 1 or 2 points, and that gap won't be as big. But we're just going to have to wait and see what happens here. Northern Nightmare and its driver, Alex Stevens, 27, who has been dominating all season. I don't think anybody has taken the lead away from him so far this year. So he's just been dominating all season long. But he's able to get one lap of his second attempt done. It all comes down to the second one. What's it going to be? Let's just wait and see. He's going to finish it, and now it all comes down to the time. Where is he going to land? He flips it, but he stayed within the lines. And a 26.73. That means he's going to take the qualifying lead and the qualifying win overall. So this is the leaderboards for qualifying. You can see Northern Nightmare just got 12 extra points to his substantial lead. Monster Dalmatian, who was in second, only got 1. So who knows at this point? This is crazy. Here's the racing bracket going into racing. Northern Nightmare, Old Toro, Zombie, and Mohawk Warrior with the bye runs for being the top 4 qualifiers. And this is what the leaderboards are looking like after the fact. Northern Nightmare now with a 21-point lead over Blue Thunder, who is now in second place. Monster Dalmatian moving down to third. So this is going to be very interesting as we have racing skills and freestyle next. So be sure to stay tuned. Can't wait to see what happens. Also, quick reminder, don't forget to check out my Patreon. Link down below, link right there on the screen. Racing skills and freestyle is next. Can't wait to see you guys there.